What's going on, folks? I know you saw my videos from yesterday. That lovely disaster. Oh man, I swear, what a day. What a day it was, man, I tell you. Little setback here. These are the things when you're doing stuff like this. You're doing a tiny home. If you're self-contracting it, hell, even your contractors themselves can have setbacks. But it's frustrating, But I had to expect it, and I've said it all along. I can wallow in it and make yesterday the biggest disaster and let it get to me, or I could just keep moving forward. And I just got to keep moving forward. It'll get better. It's just going to cost me a little more money that you didn't expect to spend, and that's a part of this process. You have a general idea what things are going to cost, but there's those hidden costs that you just don't know. So we're going to get through it. I'm in contact with a guy this morning. It was referred to me from Walker, the guy who did my trenches and did some other stuff for me. His stuff is just tied up for several weeks, and Britton has some equipment. I think he may be able to get out there Monday. I'm kind of touching back base with him again today. I sent him a photo and some information. Hopefully that worked for him. To try to get him out there and get that stuff. It's probably going to have to get a lot of that dirt out of there. What we're seeing is that a lot of that dirt was piled up from the dirt when they dug the trenches, the footings before concrete, and they just piled it in the center. And it was Walker went in and leveled it out to a certain degree, but not, none of us are realizing that dirt needed to come out of there, and we need to pack some large gravel, what they call crusher run gravel. It's larger than what's in my driveway. It's kind of what construction sites use when they come in, making a little dirt driveway so there's no mud, it doesn't, bog down. It's very solid stone, and when it packs down, vehicles can sit on it and roll in and out and not bury down in a pile of mud. I think once you get a lot of that dirt out of there, the ground under it's pretty hard. It'll pack down pretty firm, and the gravel going above, I think, will, above that will help. If you get under there, you're not sitting in water. And once the house goes in, granted, as I've always said, I'm going to have a little water on the side of that footing until we brick and seal that off. That's another thing I'm going to have to do more likely. Before they brick, I think I'm going to take a couple of, maybe a couple of rows of brick, about, 6 or 8 inches high, with a little quickcrete and come across those footings to seal it, kind of a barrier to keep it from going inward, because it was coming off the house there. And then basically take some waterproofing sealant, almost like that Flex Seal works fine. You spray it. Someone said Flex Seal is amazing. Spray it over the outside surface of that brick around the crevices, and so water doesn't run through the bottom, and it'll just basically create a barrier where water won't run in under the house. So I don't know, there's only so much you're going to be able to do until you get that bricked up, and that'll all come in time. The gravel, however, will help when you get under there and you're not sitting in mud and everything is covered. Should be fine, absolutely. But key here is we got to be able to get that truck in and lower that thing on the piers. Had this not been the case, the house would have been on foundation. I would have had a lot of it bolted in, and I would have been over there today or this weekend finishing up the bolting. In the meantime, though, we're gonna those hurricane clips, I've got about 40 of them. I've got to put on the rafters inside the house. They did something called timber locks. Now you'll see if you do a shed to tiny home conversion that some of them may use these timber locks. And always ask that question when they're, if you get a company you can find that will custom build you one of these. Ask about the materials, and as we go along, I'm gonna talk about the materials that were used in the shed, because I'm telling you, the guys yesterday that dropped off the shed that made the attempt. He said, I firmly believe, he said, I've been transporting these sheds a long time, and I've transported for a lot of companies. He said, I think Legacy is probably the best in the country, if not one of them. There's not a lot of companies you can find that would custom build and do for me what Legacy did on that house. He goes, he said, everybody knows about this up there, and they were, wondering who's going to carry it and who's going to get it done. But he said they just did a great job. And some of the things that you don't think about that you can do that's cost efficient. Well, and they did that, and they really did a good job. I've got to give props to Legacy. If you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia, Legacy Sheds out of Pickens, South Carolina. Chime down below if you need more information. I'll get it to you. You can contact Legacy Sheds. The sales person there that's close to the in-house is named Cindy Edwards, and they were all just wonderful. The builder and everything, and those guys were fantastic. I mean, I told Nate yesterday, I said, I 5 to 6 stars or more, 10 if I could give them. You guys have been wonderful. So right now we're just trying to get through these little hurdles, and it's not Legacy's fault. It's not 100% my fault. It's not 100% the transport people's fault. But I can't put all the blame on the transport people. They should have known, This is something we didn't know, and I just didn't expect this would happen. I didn't. So we're getting through it. So, but these are the things, when you do this stuff, I was talking about a second ago about these timber locks. Not to get off tangent here. Sorry about that. The timber locks are these long bolts, and they're starting to be real mainstream with engineers signing off on them for wind zone areas, that when you come up through the top plate in the wall into the floor joist at an angle and it locks down that beam, it's supposed to be as strong as a Simpson hurricane clip. However, on my plans, those hurricane clips are on there, and I've got to get them on there, so I've got to put them on there, and it's very time consuming. It's about 10 those 8D galvanized nails. There's about 10 of them per clip, and it's the H2.5 clips have got to go on, and we'll get it done. So that's the next thing I can do. I do a little bit of water sealing on top part of the porch. I'll do a little bit of that, get that out of the way, and then I can't do the Borate treatment until the house is on foundation, because I've got to get up under it, and I've got to really soak the bottom of that house with that mold and mildew and that Borate, and get on the inside of the house on the 2x4s. The siding and the exterior is all that LP siding. And that's I talk about the materials. When you're looking to do one of these sheds, the materials are key, down to the flooring, the subflooring they use, and everything. That LP siding, it's that LP smart siding that has all the zinc borate infused in it, and a lot of the other stuff that makes it very strong and very durable. So so I don't have to worry about that as much, but it is a few things around it, like the studs in the wall. So anyway, I'm running long. I'm gonna get off. I'll keep you guys posted and try to document as much as possible what we're doing. We got trees down here in a good way. They went the right direction, thank God. So my friends, it looks like a tornado or hurricane hit my yard, but these trees were intentionally dropped. It's crazy. We've got him trying to get this stuff cut up. Of course, it's not as wet as he said. I knew it would be somewhat wet over here, but he managed to get some of this stuff cut up. He just got to get it moved, which is good. He was out here a little bit doing some cutting. We just got to get all this stuff cut up, moved over here in the brush over here. Hopefully by tomorrow, I was supposed to today meet with the contractor to get my footings, all my footings fixed, all this stuff over here. This is a mess, man. We got water all up in there. Look at that, man. I got to get all that center dirt level and get all that, and we've got to get get crushed concrete in there so when it dries up, that truck can back up again right through here. But he's got to get these trees. He's got to get these trees out of here. This is a mess. And as you can see, the house is just sitting in the yard. So we'll get it one thing at a time. It's all we can do. And can't keep that plastic over there that long. I worry about snakes getting up under there. I got to deal with that. I got to get that plastic moved, cut it up and get rid of it. And I'm going to put new plastic down when I do the crushed concrete after the house is in place, not before. So that's where we stand so far. Well, folks, I'm back here at the house. Not on foundation, but I'm just here putting in these hurricane clips. The guy's out fixing to start cutting these trees down. It's going to be some work. He's literally going to climb them to cut them down in sections. I don't know. It's not my thing doing that stuff. But anyway, one important thing when you're doing and I'll talk more about this later, is building your own tiny home or doing one of these. These are what you call H2.5 clips. These are hurricane clips. Now I talked about them in my last video. They use timber locks, which if you look up in here, it's a bolt, goes straight up and vertical into the rafter. But the plans called for these, and in the wind zone they have to be. So once they know we've done both, they'll be satisfied that this thing is tied down. But I'm just going through this 10 nails, 10 of these 8D nails. And do your research, but I mean, these are what you call 8D galvanized nails. They're about 1.5 inches. 10 of them per clip. I mean, it takes some time. So what I'm doing is I'm just going and getting these things on with one nail, get them all up, and then go back and start nailing nails, because I was thinking I need a second or third hand here. Well, getting one nail and getting it on vertical is easy, and then just come back and start nailing all the nails. So that's going to be the time consumption here, but we'll get it done. So be it that it may, I'm just trying to get these small stuff done while I can. Guy's coming Wednesday. He's going to come in there and he's going to dig out all that dirt lower than the footings and pack it with called crushed concrete. Sorry about the noise. I got a chainsaw. He's cranking too. But we're going to do crushed concrete on the driveway. They call it ROC. And he said that'll pack down. There's no way he'll sink in that. So if you can hear me, that's what we're doing. So other than that, that's going to be $1,200 on that, plus the money for them to come back and do this. These are the unforeseen expenses. You got to kind of factor the percentage of expenses you may get hit with this if you're doing this. But anyway, I'm gonna jump off. This noise is going to impede this. Get these clips on, and we'll see you on the next one. Be cool. Bye. What's going on, my friends? I'm just back here at my property again. And I see this kitty cat over there. Can't zoom in, but he's over there. This little butterscotch tabby. I'm gonna see a lot of him. He's over there spraying on the bush. He's a sweet kitty cat. I love cats, if you don't know that. But anyway, I've got some people coming to get this wood. Still got a lot left to get off my property, but we're working on it. A lot of work here to do about the piers, and that guy's supposed to be coming this week to get that done. Sorry, I'm just watching the kitty cat. But I'm back here doing some measuring at my house, and I figure what I'm going to do is I got to measure off some things, get these clips nailed, get that finished up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a borate treatment on the whole inside of the house and the top part of this porch and the railings. And then I'm just going to order another gallon of it and do the underside of the house when it gets on the piers. It'll be cool. That way I've got the majority of it out of the way, and it may cost a little bit more in the borate, another $129, but it's just, I want to make sure this thing is done right and everything is treated. This whole house would be thoroughly treated to floor it all for mold and mildew and make sure there's none of that, as well as termites. And it'll get done. So that'll be the cool part about this. And other than that, I just want one thing after a time, just get past this and get all this stuff done. I didn't I was going to do a separate video on this, but I'm just going to include it right here and talk about it. But I think, excuse me, that was the window, wasn't me. Speaking of, I need to make sure that doesn't squeak when the building inspector comes. But anyway, I think I have figured out the mystery of my shoes deteriorating. And it may not be what I thought was in my yard. I don't know if you guys know that shoes dry rot too if you don't wear them a lot. If you buy new shoes, guys, and you let them sit in a closet or in totes forever, they will dry rot. There's a polyurethane mixed with the rubber, and that material breaks down. And I was wondering that, man. The weird, you know how we are. We start thinking about things. And if you ever wonder stuff, don't sit there and just let it go or forget about it. Look it up and do some research. The wear on the shoes when they were showing examples was almost the same pattern as my shoe. Yes, it looks scary, and it's easy for me to suspect that chemical could have done it when I didn't, like somebody dumped something in my yard and they did. But that may not have been the case. So, because I've worn other shoes over that and those boots, the new boots I've gotten over that area, nothing. I've had no problems since then, so we shall see. But we got to get this wood and stuff off the property because I got to cut some more grass. I got to get this grass cut too again. But other than that, all is well. I'm just going to work on getting these clips done. I've got one of these nailed up already completely, if you see. I don't know if you can see that clip, but it's nailed up. And most of it, I've got them all up except right here, I've got to put a clip. But what I don't know is these corners, these clips go one way. Anybody understands this, chime in, but these clips go on the right side of the rafter. When it goes to the left, the other way, the clip is backwards and I can't hang it that way. Do they make them opposite where I can get them in these corners? I'm going to have to figure that out because I know there's timber lock bolts on that and they've timber locked it. That I know. But I just don't know. I don't know other than that. I need to definitely figure that out. I've got one over here where my wall is. I can't get a hammer in between up there. There's not a clip on that. But there is a timber lock bolt. So that timber lock, the building inspector may go, I'm going to let that slide because there's a timber lock bolt in there and you should be good. Even though we got the clips for the engineer, that's something that small he's probably going to let go because he sees that the access, and they may have done that realizing that they went ahead and did the framing in that and they should have done it before. But I'm going to leave it as that because I'm not telling him that I put these clips on. I'm going to leave it all to the builder is what we're going to do on that deal. So, but other than that, all is well, and we're just working to get this stuff done, folks. Gotta get it done. That's what we're going to do here. Well, I'm getting these hurricane clips put in. It's taking me, well, not as much time as I thought. I already have this whole side of the house done. Pretty cool. See, folks, I figured out on this hanger, I just reversed it for the corner. Now, do I know if that will fly with inspection? No, but I don't see why not, because it's just the same thing. It's the reverse of the one next to it. It's the same thing. So, you know, not to mention there are timber lock bolts up under it, under that top plates on the other side. So, I guess it'll work. What's going on, my friends? Just back at my property checking on the house. You know, I sprayed that Borate the other day, and I'll do another coat. I talked about that, but you can't smell it. It has no smell when it dries. It's pretty cool. And you can't even tell that you've sprayed it. However, they do make a green coat on that. So when I do my second coat of Borate, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to actually set the camera up and kind of talk about it and show it just briefly. Other than that, I'm here to do something, try to get that dirt off the concrete of my footings. I'm going to do that with my blower, and I'm going to see what I can do about that. It's just so much work that's got to be done here, and we'll get it done. That we will. One thing at a time, man. I just thinking all this stuff is overwhelming that I want to get done and get this thing done. And I've got to get everything one step at a time done. Let's get this thing on foundation. I worry about this house sitting on the ground, softly low to the ground, hopefully no ant beds or, don't think termites, but scary thought. But we'll get all that resolved, get that on foundation. So other than that, everything's on course. I'm supposed to meet that guy tomorrow, and he's gonna come out here and make sure he's coming Monday, which I think he will. So we'll see on that. Oh, God. Shit. With my back, the last thing I need to be is shoveling. I've got to get all this dirt cleaned up. I don't know if you can see it. Let's go upside down. Let's try this. You can see down all these concrete footings. I'm shoveling what dirt I can, and I got to get out from into here and the inside, clean all the stuff up, and have the footings visible. He's going to have an idea how wide it is, but get it all cleaned up, and I'm going to take the blower and just blow all that stuff out. And just the best I can, so he sees the inside perimeter, knows what he has to dig out, and get that concrete in. Let's hope he comes in Monday. That's all I'm hoping for.